This criminal story took place in 2004 in the state of New Jersey, USA, when 16-year-old Brittney Gregory disappeared from her own home during the night. Police immediately began searching for the missing girl, and what they discovered after a 2-week investigation shocked not only the girl's family but also deeply concerned the public. Brittney Gregory was born on April 1, 1988, in Brick Township, in a large family, as the youngest of 5 children. After her parents' divorce, Brittney and her older sister Brianna stayed with their father Joe Dunn, but they continued to maintain close relationships with their brothers and mother, Deborah. Brittney was very intelligent, beautiful, excelled in school, and dreamed of studying criminology after graduation. She was passionate about watching various detective shows, read many books about her future profession, yet she remained an ordinary teenage girl who loved music, dancing, and hanging out with friends. In 2004, 16-year-old Brittney and her older sister Brianna, who was then 20, lived in a small house with their father Joe and his new girlfriend Lori Peterson. Their father's house was close to the school Brittney attended and was situated at the end of the street, bordered by a small wooded area. At that time, Brittney had been dating an 18-year-old boy named John Fitzgerald for 2 years. The young couple had a very good relationship, and the boy was well liked by the girl's family. On Sunday, July 11, 2004, Deborah and Brianna went to the town of Toms River, located 15 miles from Brick Township, to visit their older son and his wife, who had recently had a baby girl. That same evening, around 8:30 p.m., Brittney called her mother asking for a ride to her boyfriend's house. Her voice sounded very distressed, and her mother immediately sensed that something had happened. Promising her daughter that as soon as they returned home in about an hour, she would take her wherever she needed to go, Brittney agreed and promised to wait for her mother and sister. About 45 minutes after the call, Brianna and her mother returned to the town and tried to contact Brittney, but she didn't answer the phone. They assumed that Brittney had probably already fallen asleep and didn't wait for them. When Brianna returned the next morning, she found that Brittney wasn't home, and it appeared she hadn't spent the night there. All of Brittney's belongings, including her phone, money, and documents, were in place. Brianna suspected that her sister might have spent the night at her boyfriend's house, but this seemed strange as Brittney hadn't informed anyone, plus she left her mobile phone, which was very unlike her. Extremely worried, Brianna called all of her sister's friends and acquaintances, but no one had seen or knew anything. She also called her sister's boyfriend, John, who said that the last time he talked to Brittney on the phone was Sunday morning, and they hadn't seen each other since then. Lori Peterson, their father's girlfriend who lived with them, mentioned that when she returned home around 10 p.m., she discovered that Brittney wasn't there. Realizing that something was wrong, Brianna immediately went to the police to report her sister's disappearance. On July 12, 2004, after much persuasion, the police finally accepted the report on Brittney's disappearance, although they believed that the girl had most likely just run away from home or was spending time somewhere with friends. However, Brianna insisted that such behavior was not typical of her sister. She couldn't have just left home without reason, as she was devoted to her studies, spent most of her free time at the library, and never left home without notice. Brianna also informed the police that all of her sister's belongings, money, and phone were left at home. She had already contacted all possible friends of her sister, but no one knew anything about her whereabouts. Commencing the investigation, the police first arrived at Brittney's residence, inspected her room, and tried to find any clues. After examining Brittney's bag and her phone left in her room, they found nothing suspicious. They questioned everyone residing in the house and ruled out the possibility of anyone close to Brittney being involved in her disappearance. The police then moved to search the area surrounding the house. They checked neighboring houses in the area, inspected the surrounding areas, interviewed neighbors, attempting to find witnesses who might have noticed something, but none of the neighbors had seen anything suspicious. The police noted that the house was located at the end of the street, with a wooded area across the road, which they also thoroughly searched, yet found nothing suspicious. The police conducted numerous interviews with the girl's relatives, neighbors, teachers, but no one could provide any new information to the investigators. During a subsequent witness interview, Brianna told the police that shortly before Brittney's disappearance, she had a fight with her boyfriend John Fitzgerald, as she saw him kissing another girl. Nevertheless, Brittney decided to forgive him for this incident and wanted to reconcile with him. The police became interested in this information and invited John Fitzgerald to the police station for questioning. John was genuinely shocked by Brittney's disappearance and explained that the last time he spoke to her was the previous evening when she wanted to come over, but they argued again, and she hung up. He revealed that rumors about Brittney kissing another guy at a party had caused their argument, although John himself hadn't witnessed it. Due to this, he decided to end their relationship and started dating another girl. John also mentioned that Brittney handed him a letter expressing her desire to reconcile. In the letter, she regretted breaking John's heart, apologized for her behavior, and asked to remain friends. Additionally, John told the detectives an interesting detail that intrigued the investigators. Brittney often used to come to his house through the woods that started right behind her father's house. There were no clues linking John to the girl's disappearance, and after successfully passing a polygraph test, he was eliminated as a suspect and released. Continuing their investigation, detectives decided to verify the information provided by Brittney's boyfriend and spent 3 days combing through the woods adjacent to her home, but, to their great disappointment, found nothing. At this stage, the investigation hit another dead end, and the police had no leads other than the possibility that the girl might have decided to take her life amidst the argument with her boyfriend. However, Brittney's relatives were outraged by this assumption as she loved life, was ambitious, aimed to build a career, and no argument with her boyfriend could have diverted her from her path to the extent of taking her own life. Just when it seemed the investigation had come to a halt, a woman approached the police. She, while walking in the park in the same area with her brother on the night of Brittney's disappearance, noticed a passing car, a Chevrolet pickup. The woman even remembered the vehicle's license plate number. Upon checking this information, investigators determined that the car was registered under the name of a 23-year-old Anthony Geiger. The police decided to delve deeper into Anthony's past and found out that he had previously dated Bobby Jo, another sister of Brittney. When questioned about this, Bobby Jo revealed that they had broken up about a month ago because she believed Anthony had developed strong feelings for her younger sister and was paying her too much attention. She decided to cut off all ties with him. Brittney's friends corroborated Bobby Jo's account, mentioning that Anthony always seemed to look at her strangely and tried to flirt with her. Detectives speculated that Anthony might be involved in Brittney's disappearance and summoned him for questioning. During the interrogation, Anthony denied being in the area on the evening of July 11. According to him, he was there on July 12, by which time the police had already begun searching for the girl. He didn't deny having a good relationship with Brittney, frequently meeting her at parties with mutual friends, but he also denied showing any excessive interest in her. He claimed they were just friends, additionally stating that she was too young for him and he only saw her as a friend. According to Anthony's testimony, on the evening of July 11, he had an alibi. He claimed to have spent it at his place with his new girlfriend. Despite this girlfriend confirming Anthony's alibi, investigators still considered him a suspect due to his residence being close to Brittney's home. After the investigation once again reached a standstill, the police turned to the media, spreading information about the girl's disappearance. Moreover, detectives from neighboring districts were brought in to assist with the investigation. Brittney's family also actively participated in the search efforts, posting flyers in public places, visiting neighbors' homes, and questioning them, hoping someone might have seen or heard something, but initially this led to no avail. Unfortunately, such efforts didn't yield any results. No one had seen or heard anything relevant. At a certain point, the police began to consider the possibility that the girl might have been abducted from her own home. They conducted a thorough search at Brittney's house and discovered her personal diary in her room. The contents of these entries were crucial to the investigation, as they shed light on the secrets surrounding the girl's family. In Brittney's diary, she detailed her life, relationships with friends, and her boyfriend, as well as her school life. A significant part of the diary contained information about her family. She wrote that every Sunday she visited her older brother who was in prison, that her mother left her when she was 9 years old, and her father struggled with addiction, and she was forced to live with him and his girlfriend in the same house. Upon studying the girl's diary, detectives expanded the list of suspects and focused their attention on Brittney's father, Joe Dunn, who had a long history of drug use and had numerous acquaintances, including suspicious individuals who frequently entered and exited the house. They also discovered that his girlfriend Lori Peterson ran a male massage parlor within the house where different men were serviced daily. However, it was revealed that she not only provided massages but also engaged in intimate services for money. Lori wasn't secretive about this fact and even distributed her business cards to neighbors in the area. The police theorized that considering the unfavorable environment present in Brittney's home, it was plausible that someone visiting the house could have abducted the girl. Over 100 officers were dedicated to identifying everyone who had visited Joe Dunn's house in the last month. A meticulous investigation ensued, and on July 18, a week after Brittney went missing, the police announced the arrest of a murder suspect. The Brittney family was shaken by this news, as they believed her to be missing and her body had not been found. When Brittney's mother, Deborah, saw the televised photo of the suspect, she immediately recognized him. It was their longtime family acquaintance, 38-year-old Jack Fuller. They had been friends for about 20 years. His daughter was engaged to Brittney's brother, who was in prison. Deborah couldn't believe that he had abducted Brittney. Soon after Fuller's arrest, the police disclosed a portion of the information that led to his detention. It all started with a call to the police station from an informant whose identity was not revealed. The caller reported that a few days earlier, Jack Fuller had complained to him about back pain, supposedly arising after he buried the girl's body. Jack assured the man that the location where he had hidden the body would never be discovered. His only concern was how deeply he should bury the body to prevent animals from detecting it. The detectives needed more information for Fuller's arrest, so they decided to conduct a secret operation known as the Sting Operation. They equipped the informant with a listening device, and during a meeting with Jack Fuller, he attempted to inquire about his crimes, including Brittney's murder. Without hesitation, Fuller revealed to him that he buried the girl's body deep in the woods where nobody would find it, but he never mentioned Brittney's name. Furthermore, Fuller stated that he needed to eliminate a witness who knew too much about the incident, pointing to his friend Tommy Long, who was present in the car during the meeting and didn't hear those words. Hoping that Tommy possessed crucial information about the incident, investigators apprehended him and brought him in for questioning. Initially, he refused to cooperate, claiming he knew nothing. However, the police allowed him to listen to the conversation with Jack where Jack planned to kill Tommy. Realizing the danger he was in, Tommy revealed that on the night Brittney disappeared, he and Jack were cruising around and stopped by Brittney's father's place. Jack went inside, but it turned out there was nobody home except the girl. Eventually, Jack returned to the car with Brittney, who sat in the back seat. Tommy mentioned that he didn't understand what was happening and only asked, "What's going on?" Brittney didn't respond, and Jack said he'd dropped Tommy off at home. He claimed that Jack dropped him off, and when he got out of the car, Brittney, who was seated in the back, moved to the front passenger seat, and they drove off. The next day, when friends met again, Jack never mentioned the incident. They went to a car wash where Jack meticulously cleaned his car inside and out, which was unusual as he had never done that before. The car wash attendant even joked about it, but Jack got very angry and warned him not to meddle in his affairs, saying the attendant was risking his life. Tommy mentioned that as soon as he learned about the girl's disappearance, he directly asked Jack about it, to which Jack got furious and said he had taken her home and then left. He menacingly forbade Tommy from asking about it again unless he wanted trouble. Tommy speculated that perhaps Jack took Brittney to the woods to take advantage of her, as that night he had expected intimate services from Lori, but she wasn't home. The detectives decided it was necessary to immediately arrest Jack Fuller. When they arrived at his house, he was holding a gasoline can and preparing to set fire to his car. Crime scene investigators thoroughly searched the vehicle and found blood, which forensic analysis identified as Brittney Gregory's. The police also confiscated a vacuum cleaner from the car wash where Jack washed his car. Upon careful examination of the vacuum contents, experts discovered sand particles with baked blood, confirming it was Brittney's blood. Despite all the evidence collected by the police, Jack did not confess to the abduction and murder of Brittney and refused to speak. Detectives interviewed all of Jack's acquaintances, most of whom believed he was capable of murder. Fuller was a genuine criminal. He constantly committed various offenses, breaking into cars and houses for theft using and distributing illegal substances, assaulting a man with a baseball bat, physically resisting police officers, and he had been repeatedly arrested for drunk driving. He had been arrested more than 12 times in the past 10 years, and just a year before the girl's disappearance, he was released from prison after serving a 5.5-year sentence. Another intriguing fact emerged during the investigation. On the night Brittney disappeared, one of the patrol officers saw a car parked by the side of the road at the edge of the forest. That was Jack Fuller's car. When the police officer approached Jack, he claimed to be searching for his dog that had run into the woods. Considering this information, the police organized extensive searches for the girl's body in the area where Jack's car was spotted, involving police personnel, canine units, helicopters, and volunteers. But unfortunately, they found nothing. While investigators tried to extract a confession from Jack Fuller, a woman called the police claiming she might know where he hid the victim's body. This woman had a less than stellar reputation. She used illegal substances and had been living with Jack for several months. During that time, she got to know him well, as he often took her to the same places. Once, he showed her a spot near a power line and said it was an excellent place to bury someone, ensuring nobody would ever find them. At first, detectives dismissed everything this woman said as fabrication, but she mentioned that the location was in Linewood, an area with sandy soil. The place was just 3 miles from Brittney's home, prompting the police to organize searches involving law enforcement from neighboring districts and K-9 units. On the morning of Tuesday, July 27, 2004, 15 days after Brittney was reported missing, 3 police officers with dogs discovered a spot with a hand protruding from the ground, bearing a bracelet with the name Brittney. Detectives realized they had finally found Brittney Gregory's body, confirmed by forensic analysis. Unfortunately, due to the body's decomposition, the examining expert couldn't determine the exact cause of her death, as there were signs of strangulation and a severe head injury. After the discovery of the girl's body, following advice from his lawyer, Jack Fuller decided to negotiate a guilty plea deal with the prosecution. On February 9, 2005, at the trial in the county court, Jack Fuller was charged with murder. During the lengthy legal process, he eventually confessed that on that night, Brittney asked him to take her to her boyfriend's house, and he agreed. Initially, he dropped off his friend Tommy at his home and planned to drive the girl to her boyfriend's, but before that, he stopped by the roadside to smoke one of his illegal substances, causing Brittney's displeasure. She started yelling at him and hit his hand. This enraged him, and he started punching the girl in the face and head. He stated that he struck her forcefully at least twice, after which Brittney began gasping and making gurgling sounds while Fuller continued, ignoring the fact that she was already bleeding from her mouth and nose. When he finally came to his senses, he saw that the girl was motionless and not breathing. Realizing that Brittney was dead, he decided to dispose of her body. On October 18, 2005, Jack Fuller officially pleaded guilty to intentionally causing grievous bodily harm resulting in death, and on January 13, 2006, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison without the possibility of parole. Brittney's mother and sisters didn't believe Jack's account of what happened, as they suspected he subjected her to sexual violence. They questioned why he undressed the girl before burying her, but this remained a speculation as the examination couldn't determine whether sexual violence occurred or not. In 2008, Brittney's school, Brick Memorial High School, initiated a forensic science program in memory of her, as it was something she had passionately wished for. This is the resolution of this tragic story. Who knows, if Jack Fuller, who had been arrested multiple times for various crimes, had been in prison, perhaps Brittney would still be alive. Friends, share your thoughts on this story in the comments and don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.